Committee and will be conducting this morning's meeting. I hereby call the meeting of the Capital Committee to order at 9 a.m. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the live streaming law, this meeting is being conducted via video conference and is being live streamed on the Maryland Transportation Authority Capital Committee page. As a reminder, all members of the Capital Committee will have their video active during the entire meeting. To minimize background noise during the call, I would ask that everyone online please mute your phones. I ask that anyone who is presenting or answering a question, please turn your video and audio on when speaking. When you are done, please return your video off and put your audio on mute. There are no members of the public, no elected officials, and no media that have pre-registered to comment at today's meeting. At this time, we will begin with agenda item number 1.
I'll move we approve the open session meeting minutes of December 3rd, 2020.
Second. Member Cox.
Second. We have a first and a second, so be it.
All in favor?
All in favor, signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye. He's out of practice.
Yeah.
He'll get in practice. Won't take him long.
Okay. The first order of business is approval of open session meeting minutes of December 3, 2020. Do I have a motion for approval of those minutes from December 3rd? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it, so moved. Next, we have approval of Kennedy Highway 3029-000-I-95 ETL northbound, and that is Brian Wolf. Brian, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. For the record, my name is Brian Wolf. I am Director of Project Development for the Office of Engineering and Construction. I'm here today to present Contract 3029. This is the Abingdon Road bridge replacement over I-95. This work is being performed as part of the Express Toll Lanes Northbound Extension program, and it'll replace the bridge over I-95 in anticipation of the future widening of the northbound lanes under the bridge. The scope of work will include the staged removal of the existing bridge, as well as the staged construction of the proposed bridge. We'll also be doing some roadway improvements to Abingdon Road, as well as some drainage work, landscaping, and other miscellaneous work as part of the project. We do have miscellaneous allowance item of $300,000. We also have a $10,000 partnering item and a $10,000 price adjustment for diesel fuel. The engineer's estimate for this contract was $8,835,564.50. We advertised the project in September of last year, on September 10th, and we received bids on November 12th. We did have 8 bidders on the project, and the low bid was submitted by Alan Myers in the amount of $6.25 million. And we are recommending the award of the contract to Alan Myers. Their bid price is 29% under the engineer's estimate. There were no bid protests or rejections, and a bid justification was prepared for this contract. The MBE goals for the project are 24% with sub-goals, and we also have a VSBE goal of 2%. Alan Myers has submitted an MBE plan that is 26% MBE and the 2% VSBE, and that plan is currently under review by our Civil Rights and Fair Practices group. As you're aware, Allen Myers has completed several projects for MDTA in the past, including KH 3013 and 3016. Those were two noise walls to the south of this location, down between Maryland 43 and 152. They're currently working on our KH 3010 contract, which is an auxiliary lane between Maryland 152 and Maryland 24. And they also have the KH 3023 contract, which is the Maryland 24, Maryland 924 park and ride lot. The contract duration, we anticipate NTP in February of 2021, and the duration of the contract will be 540 days. We are seeking recommended approval from the Capital Committee to present this contract to the full MDTA board in anticipation of approval.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, what, Member Cox,
I
what do
guess
you
the
have?
question is, because of previous questions we've had, how have they been performing on the current jobs that they are undertaking at this point?
I'm not aware of any major issues with them working on our contracts. They're performing well on the 3010 contract and the 3023, the park and ride contract that they're currently working on. I am not aware of any issues with that contract either. Things are progressing along with that as well. The two noise walls are complete. They've been completed for some time, and so they are done and in service.
I guess the follow-up question is then, if they performed, they have not, when they were on the job, they remained on the job versus a lot of lag in between.
Correct. That's my understanding. I'm not aware of any issues with them leaving a job site vacant and then coming back to it. My understanding is they've been, they're always present at the contract site doing the work.
Another question I have with this contract and the bridge, and obviously it's always a disruption. It's good for the northbound portion of the ETL, but how about the future south ETL? Is that included in this contract, where the future, when they do the bridge at this one point, is it on the southbound section of I-95? Would that be accommodating an ETL at some future date?
Yes, actually, all of the overpasses that we have replaced as part of the ETL program, they have all been built wider or longer in this case to accommodate the northbound two ETL lanes, but also the future southbound. So they've been widened to the north and to the south.
Okay, so it'd be 2 lanes south also. It could
Correct.
be accommodated. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I have a question. Brian, why do you think we had such good bids on this project? 8 is a good number of bidders, and of course the pricing well below engineer's estimate. Is it the market, you think, or is it the lack of state work out there, or tell me what you think?
I believe, yes. I believe we are seeing more competition on our contracts. I believe it does have something to do with the fact that our sister TBUs, their federal funding and such is well below what they need, and their programs have slowed significantly. And I think there's been a focus on us. We're seeing a lot more bidders. We're seeing bidders that we normally would not see on a project of this size that are bidding on the project. So I think it's part of the industry. They've seen that our program is continuing to move forward, and I think they've shifted focus to us right now because we're still advertising contracts.
Thank you.
I have a question. How's the quality of their work these days?
It's okay. I'm not aware of any major problems with the quality of the work from our construction folks. As far as I know, the auxiliary lane work has been moving along in an acceptable manner. I'm not aware of any major problems with the bridge work that's been done by them, other than just the normal things that happen on a typical project. There's been no major concerns.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? If not, we have a motion for
I'll make a
approval?
motion. I'll make a motion for
Okay.
approval.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have an update on the nice Middleton Bridge, and that's Anthony Tabasco.
Morning. My name is Anthony
Did I
Tabasco.
pronounce it right?
Yes, you
Did I
did.
pronounce your name right?
Just like the hot sauce. So,
All right.
my name is Anthony Tabasco. I'm the acting deputy director of construction and the project coordinator at the Nice Bridge. So this morning, I'm just going to give you a project update, what's going on down there. So I did a slides presentation, so there's some slides in your book and everything. So I'm just going to give you a project overview. Notice of intent of award was October 4th, 2019. Contract execution date was January 24th of 2020. The notice to proceed was March 17th of 2020. We plan on having it open to 4 lanes of traffic by December 15th of 2022. The final completion date, which includes demo, will be December 31st of 2024. Contract time, final completion percentage is about 13%. Contract value is $462,957,000, and amount percent of contract amount paid to date is 26.87%. So the proposed bridge was total length of 9,970 feet. They plan on a 100-year lifespan, service lifespan. Currently, we're installing 36-inch concrete piles up to 190 feet long, 66-inch cylindrical concrete piles, which are hollow inside. They're about 8 to 10 inches thick. They're hollow, which are getting installed, which will be filled full of concrete. Pre-stressed concrete girders on low and high level approaches, steel girders on the main channel spans, steel pipe pile supported concrete fender rings of the 2 navigational channel piers. So far, the design status is 90% complete. AECOM plans on completing the design sometime into this month, January 2021. The recently released for construction plans are the pre-stressed concrete girders, superstructure, abutments A and B, substructure, expansion joints, and bearings. Upcoming release for construction plans, which are, we call them RFCs, highway drainage, MOT, lighting, electrical, ITS, AET, and sign structures. Metal material fabrication. Right now, they completed the steel pipe piles, fabrication of the fender ring piles, which are on site. They came from Louisiana. Concrete piles, casting 36-inch square, 66-inch cylinder concrete piles are continuing at CPS. Precast tubs are being cast, and they're going to be used as a permanent form for the pier footings in the water. Construction status is early access, set up staging areas, and installed access roads in Maryland and Virginia. Dredging completed on the Virginia side in the channel. Currently, they're working on the trestle. They're going to complete the installation of temporary trestle on the Maryland side and the Virginia side. Currently, they're setting up an on-site concrete batch plant. Construction status, there's 48 test piles. Number of test piles driven are 24. There are about 24 remaining. Production piles, 821 are remaining, or total have to be driven, not including the test piles. So there are 91 that's been driven, and there's about 730 that are remaining. Earthwork, they're still working on the placing fill for embankments on the Maryland and Virginia side. Concrete for the first foundation pier 56 was placed on December 4th of 2020. Upcoming fabrication, we're still you know, fabricating the precast bathtub, structural steel girders, roadway joints, bridge bearings. And for the next 90 days, they look on setting some precast tubs, placing concrete footings, continue pile driving, and continue the earthwork on the Maryland, Virginia side. So that's all I have for the next 90 days, and I can open up to any questions.
I guess I have a question. Looks like you're moving ahead. When do you think the next, how long before the next contract will be probably submitted for approval?
There probably isn't one, right? Since this is all one big design build project.
Yeah, this is a design build contract. So
Oh, it's the whole thing. In
Yep.
other words, you're giving us an update on where we are today,
That's
but as
correct.
far as the contract, it's all, what we've already approved is design builds, correct?
That's correct. So
As the member again demonstrated, okay.
yes, and also at the current time, they're actually redoing the campus also. So once we leave out of there, should be all new campus, all new bridge, and we shouldn't have to go back down there for hopefully 100 years.
Well, member Cox will still be around.
What's a precast tub?
He was
It's,
there when they put the bridge up.
Can we all fit in it when on the grand opening?
they're pretty big. They need two big cranes to set them, so they're pretty.
Oh, okay.
Like a cofferdam type thing?
Yes.
Keeps the water out? Okay.
Yes. So what's going to happen is they're going to set them on top of the concrete pile, seal them. They'll go ahead and pump the water out and set the rebar and pour concrete. And it's going to be one solid footing.
Gotcha.
So
I like the
Monolithic.
I like the picture.
Part of the pile driving.
yeah, I put some
Or
pictures
pile.
in there. You can see one of the bathtubs. It's got the ring cylinder pile rings in it, so it sits over top of the cylinder piles.
I see.
So then they seal the holes around it, and they pump it out, and they set the rebar and they pour concrete.
Anthony, are you up to speed with it? I mean, as far as the time, your schedule?
We plan on being completed on schedule and on time. We had a few difficulties with the concrete pile installation, but it's going. They've brought in additional forces and additional barges and some additional hammers, so we should be on schedule to be completed before the fish window for the Maryland side, having the piles
Great.
installed.
Great.
That one picture, I'm looking at the pile load test, so thanks for throwing that in for the geeky geotechnical engineer on the board.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how they did some of the testing, and we're doing the load testings and stuff, and pretty massive setup.
Oh, that's great. That's going to be a great project when it gets
What-
finished.
Yeah. What were the difficulties of the concrete piles? Just
The 36s are just solid, so they're a little more difficult to install versus the concrete cylinder piles. So above I don't know if you can see, there's on the metal material fabrication, you can see the concrete cylinder piles in picture
Yes.
number 2.
Mhm.
And so they're hollow, so they're a lot easier to install. There's not as much surface area versus a
Right,
36-inch square. Yeah. And below that, you can see a picture of the 36-inch square pile. I
Right,
mean, they're
right.
pretty massive compared to.
so you had good stuff to drive them into. That's a good thing, bad thing.
Yes.
Cool.
For the sake of
Yeah.
the members, I wanted to also alert the committee that if you want to track project progress, the project website, which is newnicebridge.com, Tony's team has been doing regular uploads of drone videos, and of course we can't play all of that in a meeting like this. It would take a really long time, but there's a lot. They're almost monthly updates that you can go in and check out the videos of all the construction and how the progress is going. So that's pretty neat to see.
I'm on
And
it now.
again, that's at newnicebridge.com, and you can see the drone videos.
That ought to be interesting to see.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions or concerns?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony.
You're welcome.
Very good. Very
Thank you.
good. Okay, I guess that completes our agenda unless there's anything else that needs to be brought up, which I don't think we do. So do I have a motion for?
I'll make a motion that we close the meeting.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New
Yes,
Year.
same to you.
See you
Good
this
job,
afternoon.
Mr. Chairman.
See-
Glad to
see you
get you
tomorrow.
back here.
Stay
Pardon
safe.
me?
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, okay.
What time are we? 1 o'clock this afternoon?
Great.
Very good.
Okay.